Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining. My name is Molly and I will moderate our open house session today. So I wanted to quickly welcome you, introduce Flatiron School. Flatiron is on a mission to enable the pursuit of a better life through education. That's something that has been consistent throughout our early days, and it's something that we hold dear. We've had about 15,000 learners come through our program, 15,000 graduates since the beginning. And we run programs in data science, AI, cybersecurity, and software engineering. I will provide a quick agenda today. First, we'll hear from a couple of our alumni. We'll hear from Mei Chung, who runs our delivery team, along with Abby, who will speak to our curriculum. We'll also hear from a couple of our facilitators, so you'll get a chance to meet some of the folks that you'll have the opportunity to learn from. We'll review our Job Search Accelerator course available for our graduates in the capstone phase of their program. And we'll be joined by one of our long-term employer partners to give you a little bit of perspective on what employers are looking for and why they really value working with and hiring graduates from our programs. And lastly, we'll hear from Jem, who leads our admissions team, to give you some information about how you can learn more or get started. There will be a Q&A at the end of the session, so feel free if you have questions to drop them in the chat, and we will moderate those towards the end. So let's get started. One of my favorite parts of my job working with Flatiron School is to hear from our alumni. So without further ado, we've got two alumni, Tun and Joanna, and let's hear from both of them.
Hi, I'm Tun, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about how Flatiron School helped me make a major pivot in my career. Before Flatiron, I spent 13 years as an international civil servant working at the United Nations. It was meaningful work, and I learned a lot, but over time, I found myself wanting more. I've always had a passion for tech, and I started to realize that maybe it wasn't too late to make a change in my career. Flatiron ended up being that catalyst that I needed. I graduated from their software engineering program in the summer of 2019, and from day one, it gave me the tools, the structure, and the support to completely change the direction of my career. My first role after graduating was as a support engineer, where I helped support both internal and external apps that we had built in-house. It was a great way to get experience and to learn how things worked behind the scenes. About a year later, I was promoted to software engineer, and I had a big hand in building out a donation platform and a custom survey tool, both from the ground up. It was challenging, exciting, and exactly the kind of work that I had hoped to do after I made that switch. And now today, I'm a web services manager at a digital agency. I oversee multiple projects and lead a team of engineers. Every day, I get to combine my technical background with leadership and strategy, and I genuinely love what I do. Flatiron gave me the confidence and the foundation to start over and to succeed. And if you're considering the program, I'm here to tell you that it's worth it. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name's Joanna. I'm an alumni from Flatiron, and I just wanted to share a few words of encouragement here today. I'll start with my background. I graduated Flatiron in November of 2023, which I can't believe is almost 2 years ago now. And before Flatiron, I was in the tech sphere, but I was working on the HR and project management side. So it was a little bit of a hybrid between people and culture and actual project management with any activities happening. It's in the realm, which was very lucky to do because it helped give me so much exposure to the tech world, and I've always wanted to be in the tech world, to do some form of engineering or computer science. I actually, back in was it 2017, started a master's degree for computer science, but only because I worked for a university and they paid for it. So once I got my new job, I transferred over and I was still in the HR sphere, but obviously school tends to be super expensive, so I put a pause on that. But the more I fell in love with tech, the more I decided, let's do it. Let's just pull the trigger and go to Flatiron. and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I love the world of tech. I love the community at Flatiron. I still have friends from the program, and I was in the live program, and there was only about 15 of us. So it's so cool to still have friends from such a small group. And that also helped me land my current job, where I was a technical coach for enterprise for Amazon. We do a lot of different things with students, meaning we work with individual students or groups from other companies who want to level up their skills. And I was so lucky to be a technical coach in cybersecurity for a group of about 100 students. And best highlight, I think, is just seeing people from so many different backgrounds all across the country participate in this program and have endless amounts of skill and motivation to push themselves to finish it, because it's not easy. I was very lucky in that I did this full time and I worked on the weekends, whereas I had students who worked full time and then did this program full time pretty much as well. So I just feel incredibly honored for the connections that I've made, the way that our students have motivated me, and the way that I keep that motivation within me to keep learning. Even right now, I actually enrolled in a master's program for real to finish at this time for cybersecurity specifically. So super excited and super honored and super grateful for Flatiron for opening those doors for me. And I think with that note, a little bit of advice that I would have for anybody on this call, since it is an open house, is one of my favorite quotes is, the best time to start something was yesterday, the second best time is now. We only have now. I know life throws things at us left and right in different ways, and we all have our own personal journeys and our own personal struggles. However, I think everything in life tends to be hard until it's not. And it only becomes not hard if you keep doing it. And if you keep doing it, that means you've had to start it. And in order to start it, you have to go now. So I think if anybody is questioning anything or unsure about anything, if you've been thinking about it for a long time, I think that is your gut and your instinct telling you it's about time to hop in there and do something. Failure is not anything to ever be scared of. I think failure is the only way people ever learn how to do things. And if that's what's truly stopping you, that's a hallmark that you are anxious enough to want to be successful and excited enough to want to be successful. So stay motivated, just get it going, get the ball rolling. And if you have any questions or anything of the sort, I'm sure our team here can share information if you want to stay connected with us. And if you have any need for useless motivating quotes, I have plenty of them. So hope to see y'all join us soon, and have a wonderful evening, and super excited for the rest of the lineup for y'all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm so excited to be sharing more about our program with you. My name is May, and I lead our facilitators and I lead our technical programs. So what I wanted to talk more about today is, what can you expect from the program? And I think really to think about it is in two ways. We have our curriculum and our live sessions. Can we go to the next slide? Great. And I think both of these components together is what makes our program so special, our curriculum, our live sessions. Our curriculum is really self-directed. And what that means is that you have the flexibility to decide when in your day you will be working on learning, right? So if you're working a full-time job, if you're working a part-time job, if you have a family and other responsibilities, you're able to schedule that work around what you need. And we provide a structured pacing guide so that you know what you need to complete by which day in the week. But again, you get to decide how do you want to spend your hours and where can you spend them best. So that curriculum is really self-directed. We have live sessions, and these are facilitator-led. So our facilitators are industry experts. They have a lot of real-world experience and a desire to mentor, and they will be meeting with you weekly in live gatherings in a virtual space like this with all of your classmates, which could be up to 6 students. And that's where you will be talking about any technical questions that's come up for you during the week. Or maybe you want to know more about a concept and you'd love to have a discussion with your classmates and your facilitator. This is the space to do that. And your facilitator is really bringing in their experience from working in the industry for many years. And so they're able to kind of really share with you, how is the homework that you're doing or the lab that you're working on or the concept that you're learning, how does that apply to the real world? How would that apply to a job or maybe to a job interview? These are all things that you can really find in those live sessions that are led by our facilitators. I'm sure many of you are also wondering, okay, well, how do I prepare for a program like this? Because maybe I've never done this before, learn a new technical skill, or maybe it's been a long time since you've gone back to school. So if we can go to the next slide. Great. I think that there are really 3 ways to prepare for the program. One is technical. We share with all of our prospective students computer requirements so that you know exactly what kind of hardware you need in order to participate in the program, to work on labs and run programs that will work for you. Then there's also software setup, which we provide tutorials on how to set up your environment. That's what we call it. And this will ensure you're able to complete the labs, that you're able to use third-party tools in order to go through the program. So the technical support is there, and that's one way to prepare. The second way is logistical, which is scheduling. Really want to make sure that you have time in your schedule and that you've carved out time in your schedule for daily work on the curriculum. So looking into your schedule, looking at the weeks ahead, when will you be working on the content? When will you be going to these live sessions? Making sure to guard that time is really important so that you can really focus when you need to and meet, curriculum deadlines as you need to, or reach out for support when you need to. And then last but never least is mindset. As a student learning a new technical skill, it's really reframing how you think of yourself and how you show up as a student. So when you learn a technical skill, like you will in this program, active participation is really important. So making sure that you're really engaging with your facilitator, with the material, making sure you're really doing daily practice. So working on the curriculum every single day, that's really important. Cramming does not work when you're learning a skill. It's really about practice. And then last but never least, embracing failure. Embracing failure is something that is so important when you're learning something new. And especially when you're learning a technical skill, you actually have to do it. It's like riding a bike, right? You can understand how to do it, but it's really the practice of doing it that is really going to help you make sure that you understand and that you are an expert at it. So the other thing that I want to share more about is, I'm sure many of you are wondering, what support will I receive in the program? I've talked about our facilitators. They are amazing people who are excited to work with students. They have years of industry and leadership experience in their field. They will be working with you to provide technical support when something just isn't sticking or clicking. And then last but never least, support and motivation. They are really here to make sure you can do this. There will be moments when you feel like you can't. And I think having a facilitator and a mentor in your corner is really going to help you do that. Another way that we will be supporting you is through our Ask Ada chatbot, which is located right in our Canvas learning management system where your curriculum is found. It's real-time assistance when you need it, and it also offers really tailored prompts and code samples, and it guides you through some of that coursework when you're stuck. So anytime you're like looking for just a little bit of a reframe, or maybe you need just a little bit more information, that chat through Ask Ada is going to be really helpful. Another way that we support you is through our Discord community. We are a part of the Bletchley Institute, and they provide this amazing, vibrant community on Discord where you can find peer support and motivation, and you can also meet and engage with other students and facilitators from other industries and connect with them. So if you've thought about, well, I want more than just technical learning, I really want to build a network. I want to figure out how I can really talk about the things that I'm passionate about in tech. This is the space to do that. And this is where you can also be connecting with others on the course content. So you'll all be in this space together and really supporting one another. So thanks everybody. Thanks so much. I hope that was a little bit of more insight into the program, and I'll give it back to Molly.
Perfect. Thank you, May. Appreciate you. All right. Next up, we're going to dive deeper into what we teach. So we have Abby Kerr, who's a senior manager on our curriculum team. And I can't wait to see our tour. Abby, thanks for being here.
Hi, thank you, Molly. Thank you. Hi, all. I'm excited to talk to you about our curriculum. So let's get started. Can we move to the next slide, please, Daniel? Thank you. So I'm a senior manager for curriculum product. It's a really long title, but what it means is I just help design a curriculum and I put it into our learning management, and it's what you kind of interact with. My expertise is grounded with how adults learn in the internet and with technology, particularly like asynchronous learning environments. So kind of like we're kind of talking about a part-time learning experience where you have someone mentoring you through it, but you're interacting with the content of your own. And so I really love adult learning. I love thinking about learning, and continuous learning is the key to resilience and success. So I'm going to jump on in to Canvas because none of this means anything until you can kind of see it. So I'm going to share my screen. And jump on in. So I'm sharing my screen, Daniel. Is that ready? Okay. Okay, so when you log in on your very first day, your Canvas might look a little bit different from mine because I have some administrative privileges, but when you log into your Canvas on your very first day, you're going to have these course cards. These course cards are exactly what you think. It's how you get started in the course. So I'm going to jump into one of our courses in Student View. So this is what typically a course looks like. I'm demo touring you our Intro to Python course. Python is a coding language that is used in all of the curriculum, some of the curriculums we're teaching right now, particularly AI, data science, cybersecurity, and software engineering. This course is shared across all of these different curriculums, but it is a foundational piece of our course of coding. So there are a lot of the information in it is used in all of these study areas. So when you jump in, there's a home page. And the first thing that you probably should do when you start a course is look at a syllabus. A syllabus is basically just going to overview what the course is, give you an idea of our grading policies, kind of how you can communicate, those Discord channels that May was talking about, how the course is structured, your expectations, and it'll also give you kind of a calendar of when assignments are due and all of those things. You probably won't be jumping back to the course syllabus very often because most of your course content is going to be in the modules. Modules are just a way for Canvas to pop out your courses. In our courses, we have 8 modules of content in most of the courses. In the capstone courses, there's only 3. It's a little bit different, but in most courses, when you get started, you have 8 modules of content. The first 7 modules, as you can see, kind of have particular names on them. And in those modules, that's what I kind of call our informational modules. I'm going to pop one out. So each of these modules pops out. each of the modules has kind of three main pieces. The first main piece is the informational content. That's going to be kind of the introductions. What is it? An example, a process of how to solve a problem with the example, and a summary. The second part of a module content is applied learning. This is kind of a guarded place for you to practice what you've learned and kind of like practice some of these concepts and solving problems with them. And the last part is assessments. So typically in the informational pieces, you're just going to have, you know, some reading, maybe some videos, like a lecture video to walk. There's some interactive pieces, and there's also kind of a broken out tables at the end of conceptualizations, just to kind of give you an overview of what you're supposed to get from this module. So that's what the informational piece of the modules are. Now, the next part, which is my favorite part, the applied learning part, is the part where you are practicing these kind of skills to get ready for your assessments. So assessments is just a fancy learning term for like quizzes and tests and projects. So the check for understanding is going to be something that mimics your quiz, but it's not something that's graded. It's so you can practice it. So you can see I got this question wrong, it's incorrect. So I can keep clicking until I get the correct answer, and it gives you a little bit of feedback of what that is. And so that's a check for understanding, kind of a practice for your quiz. You're applying that learning, but not getting graded on it yet. The next thing is a technical lesson. Now, a technical lesson is a complete guided walkthrough of creating a process. So it is sometimes the technical lessons have a lot of information in them because it's just breaking down each piece of what you need to do for all your steps to be able to solve a problem. The technical lessons are going to look a lot like the labs. The next piece of the content for applied learning is a practice. Now, a practice looks a lot like a technical lesson, but with less information in each of the steps. It just asks you to do something, and at the very bottom, there's a solution. So you can practice everything that you learned in the technical lesson and have a complete solution at the bottom for you to make sure if you are doing it right, and then retry the technical lesson again, or move forward and work on your lab. So some modules will have discussions. Those are completely optional, but there's also going to be a lab, and this is your assessment. This is where you see if you are able to do what you learned in the technical lessons or not. You have a couple attempts on these labs. So just like May was saying, if you fail the first time, that's totally okay. That's how you learn new things and create new learning pathways, is trying again and being able to take feedback and change the mistakes you made on the first round. So these are your labs, usually has tools and resources. There are some instructions, tells you how to submit, and we have rubrics that kind of give you the grading criteria of what your facilitators will be grading you on and looking for. And we use some automated coding tool called CodeGrade. It's not a completely perfect tool, but it does give you some feedback immediately, and then you get feedback from your instructor. So that's kind of the big pieces of an informational module. But the last module in the course, remember these are just modules 1 through 7, the very last module in the course is your summative assessment. Summative assessment, if you remember, assessment is a fancy word for project. Summative just means everything all together. So you learned a bunch of different stuff in all of these 7 modules. In the very last one, you have a bigger project in a bigger summative lab where you take all of the skills that you learned from the other module and apply it to a bigger piece of project where you can really test yourself out. So the summative assessments look very similar to the labs. They just take a little bit more time. And then there's a summative quiz. Every module comes with a quiz. The summative quiz questions take questions from all of the quizzes in the course, and then also have some harder quizzes questions in there that are going to challenge you a little bit as you move through the content. So that's kind of a tour of what a typical course looks like in Canvas and kind of how it's structured and set up. I'm going to jump back to the slides and stop sharing. And if I can find the right button. And lastly, I just want to talk about how to be a successful student. Since I build content and think about learners all the time like you, I want to tell you what I think would make you successful in these courses. The very first thing is integrating feedback and changing your perspective. This is getting uncomfortable with learning, but it is the thing that you're going to use in your tech career, I assure you. So what I was talking about is there's a lot of automated feedback. Even in those quiz questions, you're probably going to get automated feedback if you're correct or incorrect with answers. Then there's facilitator feedback. They're going to come into your course. They're going to grade you with your rubric. They're going to look through things. They're going to give you ideas. And that should be really where you go and you take them to these assessments and you try over and over again. So integrating feedback is a great way for you to just kind of learn from the process. And the next thing is revisiting that content with that framing of feedback. And my second thing to think about is having a growth mindset and being a problem solver. So May mentioned this, creating that learning schedule and guarding your time is so important. Even if you get behind, just having that piece of every day that you are trying to get through some content, read, watch a video, do a lab, just take a quiz. That is the best way to move through. And I also want to say you are living in the golden age of learning with all of the problem solving tools that are out there. We have Ask Ada, which is like a chatbot, but you also have AI tools like ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude. These are places you can also go. You have Google searches. No other learner in the past has ever had these kind of things for you to be able to solve your problems and to research things and to learn about things more in depth that really grab your attention in the curriculum. And the last part is building a learning community, getting on Discord and chatting with other learners and finding a place where you can learn through things is a really great way to just really bolster your learning at Flatiron. And I'm really excited to see what projects you make and have you roll through the content. Thanks so much. I'm going to pass it off to the next round.
Wonderful. Abby, thank you so much. Hopefully that gave you a really great kind of up close look at the actual course structure, how you'll be working through the material, how our assessments are structured. So thank you for sharing that, Abby. Next up, we're going to hear from 3 of our amazing facilitators. They are a huge part of your Flatiron experience. And I'll go ahead and introduce, first off, Cernan Bernardo. We'll hear from Jenna Hunt next, and then Tony Kim to follow. Cernan, so good to see you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Molly. Hey, folks. Cernan Bernardo here. I'm a facilitator for the software engineering program. A little bit about my background. I was a graduate of Flatiron School myself. I went through the curriculum, graduated, and started working for a few startups. I also rejoined Flatiron as an instructor, so I do have that experience as an instructor of the software engineering program. Currently, I work as a senior software engineer for a health-based dementia company, focused on full stack. So I do both the front end and the back end work, back end in Node Express, front end in JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, primarily React. So that's a little bit about my background. And why do I enjoy mentoring students? First off, I've been in their shoes, so I know that venturing into something new can be scary, and whatever part I can play in helping make that less scary, I'm all for it. Like I said, it can be a little nerve-wracking learning something new, attempting to change your life. So I definitely can relate there. I also get that enjoyment when a student has that aha moment of like something's not clicking, and I love being there when I see the light bulb turn on. So that's a piece of enjoyment for myself, and a little bit of a selfish reason of why I enjoy being a mentor is when I'm interacting with someone and they're trying to learn something new, it kind of motivates me myself to also learn something new and continue to improve in my craft. So it's a little bit of a selfish reason why I decided to become a facilitator. What else? Oh yeah. So what can you expect from me as your facilitator? Obviously, the customary things of providing written and video feedback for the assessments that you submit. But I think one of the best things I think that both the student and I get out of this relationship is the weekly syncs. So the weekly synchronous sessions where we dive into actual concepts that students are learning that particular week, and help them, like I said, uncover certain things that they want to learn. If they're stuck on a particular concept, we can dive into that. But I think most importantly is they get to see what it's like to interact with an experienced software engineer, whether that's pair programming on a particular lab, doing the whole live coding back and forth, sharing their screen. They get to see what it's like to actually work with a software engineer and get that sense of working, within that environment. So that's one of the main things that I think students get out of the student facilitator relationship. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think it's exciting to want to learn something new. It's admirable. So I do hope that you guys can take what I have to say and run with that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for your time, and I will pass it on to, I think we have a video from Jenna. Thank you so much, guys.
Hey y'all, my name's Jenna. I'm a mentor here at the Flatiron School. I'm so sorry that I couldn't make it live to this event, but hopefully this video will give you a little insight into who I am and then the mentor experience and what you can expect from us. So let me tell you a bit about myself. I studied computer science at the University of Maryland and I graduated in 2018. After that, I took a job with Comcast NBC Universal, and I moved every 6 months for a couple of years to their different companies and project teams across the US. I worked in anything from data engineering, platform engineering, web app development, machine learning, and that kind of stuff. After that, I moved into consulting, and right now I am the director of engineering for a mid-sized consultancy. I oversee our US engineering department, and I am the lead for delivery on any kind of engineering projects that span across data science, analytics, engineering, AI, all that good stuff. So that's a bit about me. I'm Denver, Colorado based. I love the mountains. If you ever work with me or one of my students, you will just get pictures of the mountains. We'll talk about skiing, all that fun stuff. So that's a bit about me. I'm also super, super passionate about teaching. So I think kind of in all my free time, I spend teaching in elementary schools, volunteering for nonprofits, working with Flatiron School, obviously, as a mentor, and then hosting workshops for underserved communities. So really big passion of mine, and I love it. And that's a bit about me. I want to talk to you about why I enjoy mentoring and guiding students here at Flatiron. I think you guys are taking such a big step in pursuing a new career path, and I think it's awesome to be able to have alternatives to the traditional university. And I found that students here are super motivated, willing to learn, very, very smart. And that's a big reason that I love working with you guys. And I think being able to grow the talent that we have and prepare people for actual workplace jobs and give them skills. It's something that I wish I had more of in my traditional university experience, where I was learning these skills, but I never necessarily saw how it applied to a business context until I did some of those internships. And I think the curriculum here at Flatiron does a good job of giving you labs that are relevant to building a portfolio. So when you do go and have those jobs and those job interviews, you can say, hey, look at all this stuff that I did. And when your manager says, hey, can you do X, Y, Z? You know what that means and what they're talking to and how to apply those skill sets. So really awesome. I love mentoring and seeing you guys grow. And it's a big reason why I keep doing this. What can you guys expect from the mentor experience? So you'll have to talk to my students, see if they agree with kind of my perspective. But I say a mentor is someone to really help you through this curriculum and be able to be there when you don't understand a concept and walk you through and say, hey, let's take an example. Let's leverage our time as a classroom and work together to be able to answer that question and figure it out. It takes an absolute village. You know, I wouldn't be where I'm at in my career without all the people from my friends in college that we studied for all the courses together, to all the advocates and mentors I've had through my career that have said, hey, you can do this. Like, go take a chance on this, try it, let me help you, I will support you. And I think that's what the mentor role really is here, is how do you support each other so our students can be successful? So I would definitely say take advantage of your mentors in, you know, a reasonable fashion. We all have lives outside of this as well, but use them to your advantage and ask those questions of, I really liked this, I really liked this, and I really didn't like this. What does that translate to in a career? You know, there are a lot of avenues that you can take within tech, and right now we're in a really unique point where things are changing by the day, it seems, where, you know, every company is releasing a new model, or we're working towards agentic systems and all that really good fun stuff, as well as AI augmented engineering. And so leverage your mentor and say, I'm taking these skills and how does it apply to the real world, or what's going on, or what are they looking for? You know, I like X, Y, Z. And then the flip side of that is, I need help. I don't get this. You know, that's normal. Computer science is really hard. Data science, really hard. These are not easy concepts. And so take advantage of your mentor to kind of further your understanding and leveraging their experience to improve your understanding. So yeah, that's a bit about the experience and what you can expect. I really hope you enjoy it. Welcome to the program, and yeah, just congratulations.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Tony Kim. I'm really glad to be here. I'm based out of Dallas, Texas, originally from Denver, Colorado. I'm also a Flatiron grad myself back in 2020. And yeah, just to tell you a little bit about myself, my professional background, and my industry experience. So originally, I went to school in Colorado for petroleum engineering, but I wanted to be just like every one of you here, wanted to be technically, wanted to work with code and also build things and make people's life easier. So I transitioned and looked at the Flatiron School. And right after the program, I was able to land a job at a startup down here in Dallas. And I started as a backend developer for about 10 months. And then I worked at a pretty large enterprise level company called Southwest Airlines. And then currently I'm working as a senior developer advocate at MongoDB. And so I've had the unique experience to be able to work in both a very small scale to very large enterprise scale level software company. And so just through that, that made me also wanted to pursue wanting to create my own company as well. So in the past, I've owned a mentorship program, just like what we're doing here, to helping and catering towards students to elevate their experience and get their first job. And also, I've been teaching. I've been teaching for a really long time, especially in the bootcamp space. So I've done that for quite a bit now, and really excited to be part of this journey with you all. And that's a little bit about me and my background and my industry experience. In terms of why I enjoy being a mentor and guiding Flatiron students is I find it incredibly rewarding to be able to witness and also see students succeed, especially from Flatiron School. Just like the other two previous mentors said, I think what's unique about Flatiron School is that it's very industry equipped with the content that they're teaching at this bootcamp. And with that, you are already miles ahead in terms of just being job ready and also just having the practical skill sets to take on your first entry level job. And that to me is, if I could see it from the very beginning to the very end, is very fulfilling. And also, I love to tackle challenges together. I'm all about being team-driven, team effort. And if I could see the result with my team and to lead a team in that manner, I'm always for that. And in terms of also just seeing all the diverse backgrounds, I love to mentor students that are coming from different backgrounds. And that really inspires me as well to do better at leading people depending on what backgrounds they are, and also just be also feedback driven. And that's why I love working with students and students from Flatiron School. For students, what they can expect from me as their facilitator is that first, I'm very approachable and also very, very supportive, and I'm very committed to helping each and every one of you, regardless of where you are at with your coding journey. This is a team effort from the very beginning, as I mentioned, and I'm, definitely kudos for just breaking into tech and wanting to make this career transition. It's not easy, but at the same time, it's going to be very fulfilling. And the fact that we can all do this together is what you can expect, is that we strive towards the same success, and being able to lead and also mentor you all in this journey is going to be very, very exciting. And when it comes to also being a facilitator, I think this is where I also expect students to feel comfortable, but also feel like they are able to grow from their comfort zone and learn from their mistakes, but also just being able to explore new ideas and also receive feedback, because all those together is what's going to make you become a better developer and to land your first job. And so you'll get a lot of that from me and some of these other mentors that they've said. And one of the benefits is you're working with a lot of professional experienced developers, and to have that experience and to have that connection is going to be very, very valuable, especially in your entry level job search. And take advantage of it as much as you are able to ask questions and to get exposed to just what is going on in today's world is going to be very, very beneficial. And with the whole AI revolution, we're going to need more and more developers. It's going to take definitely a village to take on the next generation of technology jobs. And so I'm really excited to kind of help guide the students in that journey, and looking forward to seeing what your future career path is going to look in the technology world. So congratulations, and see y'all next time.
Hi, Tony. Thank you so much for joining us. As you can see, we have a great team here. And speaking of great team, I want to introduce our next speaker, Anne, who's on our career services team. Anne and our coaches have had a front row seat to thousands of job searches over the years. And Anne is going to share a bit more about our job search accelerator course. Thank you.
Thanks, Molly. So we do, as Molly said, have years and years of experience here at Career Services in guiding and supporting Flatiron graduates toward their first jobs in tech, or their first jobs post bootcamp in tech. And we used all of that knowledge to create a really targeted and powerful course called the Job Search Accelerator, which you would engage with during your capstone phase, that will mimic a guided hiring process from start to finish. So you will be ready once you graduate to kind of put that into practice as you launch your own job search. We want to give you those skills, just like you've learned technical skills in boot camp. We want to give you the job search skills that will let you be successful as you put yourself out into the market. So through that, we'll introduce you in an application phase to how you will share that first impression of yourself as a professional technical employee, and kind of how you will share that with the world. The next phase of a job search is usually a cultural interview. And so we will give you the tools in which to succeed in your own interviewing with companies, as well as you interviewing them to find out if you're a good cultural fit for that organization. The next step in that process is usually some kind of a technical assessment or interview. And so we will give you the tools in that phase on how to prepare for those kinds of assessments and interviews, and how to shine in that setting. And then finally, you'll hopefully get that job offer. And so we will be talking with you there about how to reinforce and restate your value in case you want to negotiate for a different compensation package or different elements of your employment. So we will give you all the tips and tools through that process. But what will you learn in each phase? Let's dig a little bit deeper in that. So during that first module of the job application phase, just like you learned how to build projects, you're going to create those professional materials that will showcase your talent, your skills, and your potential. You'll begin by thinking about which entry-level roles match your interests. You'll then create a technical resume to highlight your projects and the skills you've learned in bootcamp. You'll build your own LinkedIn profiles to showcase your enthusiasm as well as your identity as a technical professional. And you'll really just practice and dig into how you will tell that unique story of why you transitioned into tech. That is all part of what will really make you sing during that application phase. In the next module, dig deeper into how you can best effectively have conversations with companies about their culture and their work environment. So you'll learn how to talk confidently about your learning experience and your skills. You'll share your enthusiasm for continuing to learn, and you'll gain an understanding about whether or not the company is a right fit for you. And as part of this module, you will get an actual practice cultural interview with one of our coaches, tied to a real job listing, right? So it will be a real world experience of what you might expect in a cultural interview. In the next module, we'll dig more into preparing for that technical assessment or interview. So you'll learn how to best demonstrate your technical skills, whether that's through presenting your projects in a professional and thorough way, how you'll work through technical challenges, both to get the right answer, but also to share your process. Most often in these technical assessments, people are judging you on how you think about problems, not whether or not you always get the right answer. And we'll talk to you about how you will discuss that problem solving approach so that you can really show them what an asset you'll be to their business. In that section, you'll also be doing a practice technical interview with one of our technical mentors. And then finally, in the job offer module, we'll be talking more about entry-level job details. You'll be talking about professional conversations you might want to have about what you can expect in the role so that you'll be ready to make an informed decision about whether this is the right position for you. Through all of this, you will learn also what are considered job search best practices. So powered by that job search accelerator course and working with technical mentors and coaches, our Flatiron graduates have learned that there's what we call the Get Hired game plan, which has 4 pillars of strong job searching, which includes ongoing learning. So what will you be continuing to learn throughout your job search and beyond to increase your skills? How will you also create show and tell moments that will build credibility as a member of the professional technical network, and how you'll articulate what you're learning so that you continue to showcase your skills. Finally, we'll also be talking a lot about networking. How can you go out and meet the people who you can learn from and connect with so that you can grow your career and also continue to sort of chart your own path within the industry? And of course, the final one is how can you build a job lead pipeline? What can you do each week to put into that job search effort and strategy to submit quality applications to the kinds of organizations that you most want to work for? So those 4 pillars are what we consider best practices of an ongoing job search. But as others have alluded to, the final one that's not on this is your mindset. What will you do to, kind of chart the course of the roller coaster of a job application process, bringing with it some of the things you've heard before, right? An ongoing curiosity, a willingness to fail forward, showing up and asking for help when you need it, and just utilizing all of the kinds of skills that a growth mindset has within it to keep you going and charting forward in your career as a technical professional. So we're very excited to have you as part of the Flatiron community, and we can't wait to hear where you end up.
Thank you, Anne. All right. So next, we will hear from one of our many employer partners to get an outside perspective on what companies like FDM Group, who consistently interview Flatiron grads, what they look for when they're hiring and considering new talent. So Allison, so good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Molly. Great to see you.
All right, take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me today. My name is Allison Colbert, and I am the University Partnerships Lead here at FDM Group. Like Molly said, I've been heavily involved within Flatiron, working with the students that are ready to break into the industry. And I'm here to provide some industry insights to help as you guys might be considering, that tech world. So one thing that I'd love to speak on is, what we look for as we are hiring that new technical talent in the industry. So of course, I love that I'm following Anne because I think she gave such great anecdotes. So I might steal a couple as I talk. But, not only are we looking for, those technical skills, but also it's the hard and soft skills together. Technical proficiency is always crucial. We want, to have candidates that, demonstrate that strong problem solving, the adaptability, being an effective communicator. All of those are so, so important when you're thinking about, looking to join that tech world. And of course, it sounds silly, but it's my favorite thing to say, the passion behind it. I am a huge advocate where I think if you have the passion, you can rule the world. And so in this, especially when you're breaking into, tech consulting, which is what FDM Group specializes in, those individuals that have that passion, that fire to really get them going, I think they always do such a great job. The skills-based hiring is something that we're also seeing more and more often too. So looking for those individuals that, maybe have a different approach, but are really giving the insights into their ability, their knowledge, those competencies, looking outside of that formal education, those past, titles maybe that they've had before. It's really focusing more so in on those specific skills that are really needed to be successful in the role, which I think is always so important whenever, we're looking to add a new consultant into our program. Another key that I'd like to speak on is, the experience that we've had when we've been interviewing and interacting with the Flatiron grads. We've participated in quite a few of the career convos, which is always fun. It gives us an opportunity to talk to the grads, not in a super highly competitive area. It's, more of like those networking conversations where they actually see that there's a real person behind, the application process, that interview process. And so what I would say is our experience has been very, very positive. A lot of the individuals that I meet with, I really connect with because they come from such diverse backgrounds. They're all, self-starters who are really eager to get into the industry and help, solve those problems when it comes to delivering and working with our actual consultants and clients. And a lot of the times, with the Flatiron graduates, I mentioned that diversity, there is a wide variety of individuals from all over. I've met someone that, did professional football at one point. I did a mock interview last week with someone who was really passionate when it came to music. It is such a wide variety of skill sets. And again, that's, so important when you're thinking about the transferable skills that you can take into a role. In consulting, those are so key. And so I have had such great experiences working within those Flatiron grads, really seeing how it's so many individuals that want to work in those collaborative environments. They bring such unique perspectives when you're thinking about what they really want to do and how they want to impact the industry. And it's always a bonus if they've got extra different experience from those variety of fields, like I mentioned, because, oh boy, those transferable skills, there's never enough of them, never enough. Within our program at FDM Group, we're constantly interviewing. Each day, my recruiters have, upwards of 10 interviews where they're, looking to find that great talent. And so because of that, I'm lucky enough that I'm based actually in our Charlotte office where I sit with all the recruiters. I hear them on the phone. I hear some of those, pain points and, obstacles that they've had to overcome. So we've created kind of like a tips of how you can really help as you're trying to stand out in that job search. The first thing which Anne spoke upon is that network. With Flatiron, it is a huge network where you can meet people from all over that have done so many different things. And so it's really important to continue growing that even, when you're in school, when you get out of school, everything and every person that you meet is someone that can really help you in that career growth. And so I think that is a big thing that when you're thinking about your job search, like leveraging that network, continuing to grow with it, because referrals are always that really great way to, significantly boost that chance of maybe getting offered that interview or role within the organization. Another tip that I like to share is think about those socials. LinkedIn is becoming such a, even more powerful tool where I'm seeing even more involvement on that, maybe more now than ever. So make sure that on your LinkedIn, you're updating it, you're highlighting your achievements, maybe even making little social posts about the projects and the success you're gaining. That is another way that as a recruiter, we see that passion. If you're going online and sharing it with others, I think that is so powerful. So don't be scared to do that. Those endorsements that you can get from your colleagues are always very helpful. Another thing that you can also consider kind of thinking of online is if you've got an online portfolio that you can create to really showcase some of that work as well. We do a lot of resume reviews where I'll be, doing a resume review, and at the top there will be a link to someone's GitHub. And it's always so nice when I can click in and actually see what someone has worked on. One of my favorites was a game that someone made, which was tic-tac-toe. Like things like that resonate with the recruiter. And again, if you're taking the time to really create an online portfolio to showcase your experience and your past projects, that's just another way that we're like, all right, this person's serious, and maybe they really enjoy what they're doing in terms of what they're creating as well. Another thing that I think is so important in that job search is, as you're thinking through the interview process, looking for the right roles, it's really important that you communicate effectively, what you're looking for and the skills that you have on your resume, cover letter, interview process, every step of the way. I think that's probably one of the biggest pain points that I hear from the recruiters is, individuals aren't able to really speak on those specifics of the resume, the skills that they've gathered. So practice it. The more you talk about it, the more comfortable you're going to feel. And that's going to give you that confidence in an interview, whether it's in person or virtual, to, really showcase that wide variety of skills. And it's hard. Not everyone likes to brag about themselves, and it can feel like that in an interview. So make sure you really own that power in your previous experience, the skills you've gained, the projects that you've worked on. Communicate that effectively so that it comes off very clear in that interview. And then the last tip that I'll leave you with is, really understand and be perceptive of the jobs that you're going to be applying for. There are, so many individuals that apply, you have to apply to so many jobs to really find that one. I think you need to be intentional and find the ones that really resonate you with the companies that share your same mission, your values, because I've seen so much more success. And again, I know I've said this word a lot, but the passion, when you take the time to really find a company that aligns with what you're looking for, and it meets the requirements in terms of the skills that you're able to really bring in as well. So those are kind of my insights as a consultant in the IT consulting world for you guys. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Allison. Such good advice here. And I particularly appreciate the career pathing piece that you ended with, because there's so many paths you can take these technical skill sets. So between advice from your facilitator, going through our job search accelerator course, and really just kind of zooming in on what's the type of role and path that's interesting to me. Wonderful advice. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Great. All right, so now that we've heard from so many different members of the team, some of our alumni, our employer partners, as we just heard from Allison, I'd like to transition over to our admissions lead. I'm delighted to introduce Jem to talk a little bit more about how to get started and what's involved in our admissions process. Take it away, Jem.
Thank you so much, Molly. I'm so excited to talk to everyone. If we can just transition to my screen, that would be great. Awesome. Well, a little bit about admissions here. We have heard from so many amazing people, and it really combines what we stand for, which is supporting you. As Molly said at the beginning, we've heard everything from career coaching to student community, instructors, partnerships, which is awesome. But now we're going to talk about admissions. You will work with a single admissions representative from the time you apply until you start day one. So we're really here to partner with you and find the path forward for you. We also have done a lot of work to try to take the overwhelm out of securing your spot in the class. We've really tried to break it down into some simple steps But we're here throughout every step to help clarify and get you where you want to go. The first step is, of course, submitting your application, and then you will pay a deposit and finalize your enrollment. Let's break into some of that and really make sure that you are set up for success when you do these steps. So the very first step is submitting that strong application. And what I would like to do is actually show you how you can do that and what to expect on the application, and then what you can do to ensure it's strong. So on our site, you will see in the upper right-hand corner this beautiful blue Apply Now button. If you don't see that, maybe the screen is shrunk and you see a little hamburger menu, 3 lines. Click on that and you should see the Apply Now. Once you click on that, you will be able, let's see if I can click on it. Here we go. You will be taken to our digital application. There are some simple fields. The red asterisk means it's required. So simple fields for you to fill out. Make sure your email is the right email where you're going to want to collect your receipt, use as your login as a student, as well as getting our communication about the next steps or your financing or anything like that. So pick one central email and use that email for all of your comms. Additionally, your phone, we will text you, call you, or email you, whichever kind of communication you prefer, but we'll attempt all of them. And then we'll dive into some general information. Even if you're not sure of which course you're interested in, which discipline you'd like to learn, just select one. We can always switch this before your start date as we're in communication. If you're torn between a few, your admissions rep is skilled enough to help you decide which one is a better fit based on the work environment, what type of work lights you up, what do you get excited by, what kind of work you really don't want. Do you like being customer facing, more autonomous, working in a team? We can help you decide what's going to be a better fit for you as far as a career goes based on that type of information. So if you're not sure, just select one for now. We can always change it later. And then we will ask your pace, full-time or part-time. One of the easiest ways to know which one is, will you be working while you're taking the course? If you will have time commitments outside of work and you cannot commit 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, to a course, then you should select part-time. But if you have 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, in order to really commit yourself into a course, then full-time would be a great fit for you. But we do see people who even have that ability still select part-time because it's what's best for their family and upcoming events. So again, if you're not sure, we can always switch this. Go ahead and select one or the other, which one. You'll be able to select from our upcoming cohorts. Again, these dates are changeable, so selecting it at the application phase is not locking you into anything, but go ahead and select which one you would be best to start with. And then this part right here, tell us about yourself. Why is our course the right next step for you? I really want you to pause and spend some time reflecting here. To have a strong application is not just to meet the 100-character limit here or minimum here, but actually going into depth and showing us your passion, showing us the impact that you are wanting to have. You know, what led you here? Why tech? Why the discipline you're interested in? What's your background? Have you done any coding before? You know, did you do HTML and CSS back in MySpace days? Are you, younger and like you're just in a job that you don't think is going to be like a career, but you've always dreamt about video game design or video game creation or becoming a software engineer and solving a healthcare problem through software, right? We really want you to go in depth here of not only what course you want, but why, what led you there, and then what impact are you hoping to make through these skills and transformation. And then you can go through and do the rest and submit it. Now, once you submit, we will actually be reaching out to you to say, let's go through the next steps. Here is kind of a timeline of that full admissions process. At application, we'll review all of your data points. And if we say this is a good fit, you are going to have a outreach saying you've been admitted. Let's connect. And then admissions rep will start reaching out, email, call, text, to arrange a conversation. And we are happy to talk to you on any of those platforms based on your preference. We will need you to secure your spot by paying a $99 deposit. That $99 will apply to your total tuition. So it will get applied. But this is just a way for us to understand how serious you are about this and make sure that we are holding the spot in your chosen cohort. At the time of that deposit, we're going to confirm with you, did we get the pacing correct? If you selected full-time, we're going to confirm, do you really have, for this amount of time, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week? If not, talk to you about the flexible kind of part-time courses that we have. And we're going to confirm your start date that you chose and that there's enough time between now and that start date to hit all the other deadlines that you need to hit and that you're comfortable with that. Because this is the time for us to switch that date if we need to. We may ask questions about your vacation plans over the next few months or other types of questions to just ensure you're setting yourself up for success in selecting the correct cohort. Once we've done that, we're going to secure your financing, and we've got tons of options for that. I'm going to go over some of them in a second, and then we will complete your enrollment documents. We've made that super simple, just a couple clicks of a button, and you'll be set up. And then once you do that, we're considering you enrolled. So you will be preparing for day one. So from the time you complete the enrollment agreement and you're enrolled, till day one, we'll work with you on getting your environment set up as well as orientation so that when day one happens, you're hitting the ground running with your instructor and other classmates. So the financing options, let's dive a little bit into that. I think this is where people really want to have the most in-depth conversations, and each of these conversations is unique to every student and their individual situation. And for that reason, we've really tried to create different types of payment or financing options because one size does not fit all. And we all, like, individually are optimizing how we're going to fund this investment into ourselves in different ways. So I think it's important for you to understand before you start down that path, like, what is it? How am I going to optimize for this? What's important to me when thinking about financing? Is it having the lowest payment? Is it paying off things as quickly as possible? Is it having the least total amount possible, right? These all have different types of solutions. So those are important things for you to think about. But the options that could fit those type of situations would be paying full upfront. We have a number of students who absolutely do that, and we can arrange that with you. We can split it across different payment types. We can do all sorts of things. So taking an educational loan, these loans are a little different than like going and getting a car. So if you maybe don't have the best credit and you couldn't get a house last year, it does not mean you will be denied for an education personal loan. They are underwritten a little differently. And we have soft credit checks. So you can find out if you would be approved without it actually dinging your credit unless you were to actually engage and take the loan. So those loans have a number of differences as well. So we have some that are paying 60 months over time, or you can select less amount of time. Again, what are you optimizing for? Do you want the lowest payment? By selecting a longer period of time, you can get that payment under $300 a month in some cases. Additionally, maybe you want something like interest only while you're in the course, or deferred, where you make no payments in the program plus 3 months post-graduation. So that gives you some time to start the interviewing process and job searching process before payments become due. Those are all options in those educational loans, right? Additionally, they do allow for cosigners, which is super exciting for people who have that ability. We have payment plans that are not loans as well. It's just an agreement where we're going to spread out at 0% interest, however long the program is, the boot camp is. We're going to go ahead and just divide it out for you and let you just make the monthly payments for that. And then we also have a study now, pay later, which is 0% interest over 24 months. So lots of options. And last are kind of what we just call third party. It could be an employer. We have a number of employers who will sponsor. They have education benefits. They'll pay for it. And we will work with you and your employer to give them invoicing, show them, your graduation, talk to them if they have questions, that type of thing. We've also worked with WIOA, Voc Rehab, and the Trade Adjustment Assistance, just as an example. There's so many out there. Again, every person's situation is unique. And so we're going to really cater it to you. And that's where connecting with us after you apply to discuss your situation is going to be super helpful, not just to confirm everything, but really go over those options. And hopefully this has really shown you that there is a pathway forward for you, because it's not about just having 6 of one option. We've created many options for many different situations. And if you have more questions about it, I really just want to encourage you to reach out. There's a number of different ways we can do that. You can email directly in admissions@Flatiron School. So if you're not willing to fill out an application before a pressing question is answered, please just reach out and email us, admissions@flatironschool.com. We're happy to answer that. Additionally, on our site, I'll go right back to it so you can see. I'm going to go right to our here at the bottom right-hand corner, we've got a little chat bubble. You can feel free to click into there and live chat with us. So yeah, that's all the ways that you can connect with us.
All right. Thank you, Jem. So I want to, before we move into our Q&A, I want to just quickly close by saying thank you so much for joining us. This is our presentation for today. And before we move to our Q&A, if you haven't already applied yet, you can go to flatironschool.com/apply, as Jem mentioned. And we start our cohorts on the first Monday of every month. So that's just something to keep in mind. So thank you so much for joining us. And we will move into a Q&A session.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I'm glad to be back on stage to talk to you guys about your questions. I see there's just a few that have already come in, but please feel free to chat them out. I'm happy to discuss anything that you are asking. Okay, so one of the first questions is, what experience is required to join? So the only course we have that has some experience requirements is the AI engineering course. However, if you're interested in that, you can have the same outcomes if you don't have the experience by taking the data science course. The data science course and the other courses, other than the AI one, don't require you to have any prior experience, and in fact are designed for beginners. Our admissions requirements are that you are 18 years or older, you have a high school diploma, a GED, or an equivalent credential, and you can speak English and read English proficiently. So, and then you complete the admissions process as well. Yep. And then another question came in was, what's the difference between the full-time and the part-time? We go into detail in one of our info sessions about this, our daily info sessions, but I'll kind of high level talk about how the time to complete is significantly different. Full-time, it's 15 hours a week, or sorry, full-time, 15 weeks, but you're committing 40 hours per week of your attention, working through the curriculum, showing up to your synchronous core classes with your mentor and your cohort mates, versus part-time takes 45 weeks to complete, but you're only committing 15 hours per week, working through the curriculum, meeting with your classmates and your mentor as an example. So, you know, they both have flexibility as to when you're working on things, like what days and times, but there are very clear deadlines as to when things are due. And so you'll be working on things, again, full-time for 15 weeks for 40 hours a week, and then part-time is for 15 hours a week for 45 weeks. Okay, great. What are the next steps after applying? We went over that a bit. Definitely after applying is an assessment, and then you're going to register for class. If you are at a point in this process and you're not sure what the next step is, just reach out to admissions. We're happy to look up your information and tell you exactly where you're at in the process and what your clear next steps are. Okay, great. Oh, great question here. Who are the career coaches? This is such a great question. Our career coaches, they're anywhere from former business leaders, talent management, recruiters, sales executives, HR professionals, to higher ed leadership. However, each coach has more than 500 hours paid professional coaching experience, many whom are ICF accredited at the ACC level or higher. So, and if you want some more information about that, you can definitely go to our website, to the career services page, and it has tons of information. But ultimately, our career coaches have been doing this for a long time and are passionate about helping students in their journey to find this first fulfilling job in this new role. What does job search support look like? So I know we went over a little bit, but it's pretty broad. You know, it's building and optimizing your LinkedIn portfolios and resumes, acing, like practicing behavioral and technical interviews so that you're really comfortable with them. And those can be specific to the discipline that you're training in, as well as growing, like how to grow your network while you're in your job search journey. How to negotiate a good salary. And we even have updated our kind of job search framework to include how you can use AI. Like, I'm sure you've heard a lot of people talk about like whether or not changing your resume for every position using AI is a good idea, but we're going to really help you optimize your job search and when to and when not to use AI for that. Yep. Am I guaranteed employment upon graduation? No, we don't have any job guarantees, but we are very passionate in like empowering students to do what it takes to get that first job and being there on this journey with you. You have 180 days of career services past graduation, and you'll start with career services well before that. So more than 180 days of working through career services. So, and that's combined not only with instruction, but also one-on-one career coaching. And it's helped thousands of grads like land that fulfilling first job in tech. Great. Any other questions come in? Just checking my screen. Well, if there aren't any other questions, I can give everyone a bunch of time back. But I want to make sure that you know very clearly that if something comes up after this and you want to discuss it with anyone, admissions is the best place. We are happy to either have the conversation with you or find the answer for you. So again, any question that you have at all, reach out to admissions@flatironschool.com. Otherwise, if you haven't already applied, that's step one. It's, at least the step towards this awesome investment into yourself, but it is no like formal commitment. So please don't feel like you have to wait and have it all figured out. We can figure it out with you as we go on this journey. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time, and we cannot wait to see you on your learning journey here. Take care.